Hello, hello, hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Sebastien Lagree. And Sebastian, excited to have you on the show.
Hi, Gresh. How are you? Thank you for having on the show, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the exciting things about having a show is you get to have awesome people like Sebastian on the show. So I wanted to read a little bit more about Sebastian so you can hear about some of the awesome things he's doing before we jump into the conversation. And as the inventor, CEO, and founder of Lagree Fitness, Sebastien Lagree continues to push the limits of the fitness industry. His ceaseless efforts to elevate the fitness world have been proven to be effective. With 100 patents, the creator of a method named the number one workout on ClassPass, and with a brand that is recognizable worldwide, it is no secret that Sebastian is spearheading the industry's evolution. And I love doing a little bit of homework on Sebastian and reading a little bit more. He has a very cool story about how he got started, which started out with him as an actor, which led him to this awesome things that he's been able to do now. And
Yeah.
one of the things that really stuck out to me is I was reading that part of this process of evolution is experiment, try, and then execute, which I think is very important for all of us innovators and entrepreneurs. And I think I read that the methodology that he's been able to build is in over 500 studios worldwide, and I'm sure in counting. So, Sebastian, excited to have you on the show. Are you ready to speak to the IMCO community?
Was that?
Are you ready to speak to the IMCO community?
Absolutely. Go ahead. Let's do it.
Let's get it started then. So to kind of kick the conversation off a little bit, let's rewind the clock a little bit. Hear a little bit more on how you got started. What I call your CEO story.
Well, Gresh, yeah. So that's when I came to LA, I came to LA to be an actor. I had no idea to do anything, something in fitness. I've always been into fitness since I'm 13. I've been lifting weight and bodybuilding. And so when I came to LA, I had done my studies, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna try my luck at the acting. So I came to Los Angeles, tried to become an actor. And the first 30 days, I go to all the auditions. Essentially, I didn't get anything, but I got a lot of inquiries to work out with me because at the time I was 25 years old. I was really buff. I was, really big, really jacked, and then people wanted to work out with me. So after 30 days of not booking any auditions, and I decided, you know what, I need to make money, so I'll do personal training since people want to work out with me, and that is how everything started, man. Started to take my clients. I had start to gather clients. I had to train them in LA. Couldn't because every gym in LA had their own requirements for trainers, and I wasn't certified, and I was just looking buff. That's it. So found a place on Melrose Avenue, and the owner was like, the agreement that I struck with the owner was the following. It's like, okay, I'm going to take my clients for the weight training, but he also had a Pilates studios, and he wanted me to also teach his clients Pilates. So I'm like, listen, if that is the deal, I'll go ahead and then I'll teach your people Pilates. And I had never heard of this word Pilates in my entire life. I was bodybuilding. I was reading every single magazine, every single studies you can think of at the time. This was back in the mid 90s, trying to learn more about fitness and bodybuilding and weightlifting and everything I could about nutrition. Never once in my life I had heard anything about Pilates. So I'm like, what is this? Okay. So he showed me what it is. Bunch of people working out on wooden machine. I'm like, wooden machine? Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm just like, I like the weight. I like to drop the weight. I like to drop the hundreds on the ground. That's the way I lift weights. I don't do workout on a piece of on bamboo machine, right? But that was part of the deal. So I was open minded. So I learned the method, and very quickly it gave me clients like the next day. By the way, a lot of people don't understand that when you get certified in Pilates, many certification won't let you touch your clients for 2 years. I trained my first Pilates clients literally within 24 hours of me meeting the owner. So
Wow.
this was very fast. He told me, okay, Seb, come back tomorrow. We're going to meet at 2 o'clock. We'll do a routine together. And at 5 o'clock, you have your first client. So I started to work with his clientele. I started to, teach Pilates. And I just saw that, Pilates was actually, it was on the up and up. This was really at the beginning of, Pilates really taking off, it was like in the 90s. And so I decided, there was something that kind of was interesting about Pilates. It was the low impact aspect of the workout, because at the exact same time, I was working with a lot of men in the 40s and 50s and 60s. And these men had a lot of issues with their bodies, with the joints, especially the spine, the connective tissues. And these men all look great. They all like all beautiful, all that stuff. And I didn't understand why they were having so much pain. So I started to work with them, work with the chiropractors, and then I learned that it's basically all this pain that these men were experiencing was from working out. And I was so surprised because I'm 25 years old. I'm buff. I'm just like, I love working out. So how can working out hurt you? And then I became more aware, more conscious about the impact on the body, right? The impact of weightlifting on the body. If you don't lift properly, you can seriously hurt yourself permanently. And it can work against you over the long run. So right there and then, I decided to develop a workout that would give the satisfaction or the exhilaration of a high intensity workout, but still have a low impact. For me, that was the future of fitness, something that is going to change your body, but not at the detriment or not at the expense of your joints, your spine, and your connective tissues. So I started to develop my Lagree Fitness program. And I've had basically a series of bad luck. I got kicked out of the studio because the studio basically changed ownership. The new owner didn't like what I was doing. He
Mm.
thought that either I teach Pilates or I don't. But I can't teach my method on this reformer because it's too confusing. And also, people wanted to take my workout, not the Pilates workout anymore. So he fired me from the studio. And then after that, I realized I couldn't go to other Pilates studios because those Pilates studios didn't want my style at all. It's like, oh no, Sebastien is trouble. People are sweating on the machine, they're shaking. You're not supposed to do this. We don't want him at our studio. So inevitably, in 2001, September 2001 was my opening date. So
Wow.
I don't celebrate that date. But that's when I actually opened my first studio. And what I decided to do was basically this high intensity, low impact workout. At the beginning, I called it Pilates Plus because I was using Pilates equipment, but it had really nothing to do with the method. My all the training techniques that I've always used in the method have always been bodybuilding training techniques, right? We use time under tension, volume training. We do isometric, isokinetic, isotonic. It's all a jargon you will never, ever, ever read in a Pilates manual because Pilates has nothing to do with that. So
Mm.
I started to do this workout, and then worked out that I didn't have a room. I didn't have money to open my own commercial space. So I operated the first year and a half. I was in my living room, and I basically grew my clientele. So I had celebrities, I had all kinds of VIP people coming in my tiny apartment in Beverly Hills and then working out with me. And then I got kicked out of the apartment because I had like really 4 people coming every hour. And I was telling you, listen, I know I'm French, but I don't have the stamina to handle 4 people every hour because there was a lot of innuendos about who was coming to my apartment. So opened my first commercial space. It was 2002, 2003 on Melrose, and then from there decided to just grow the studio. I started to kind of just give up on the acting at that point, and I just really started to focus on the machine. And I thought, well, you know what? If I'm going to be doing this a long time, I need to make my own equipment because the reformer was absolutely inadequate for what I was doing. So I built my own machine, and then things started to take off. People everywhere started to call me and say, "Hey, I love this machine. Where can I buy it?" So then, when I made the machine, it was for me. It was only for because it's my understanding, it's my method. That's what I wanted to do. But then I saw the potential. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Other people want to buy the machines for home. They want to open studios. There's a whole business opportunity here that I should probably take advantage of. And then I started to offer the license. I didn't want to go the route of a franchise because franchise mean that we have to invest a substantial amount of money in the franchise itself in order to be able to sell it. I didn't have that money. I didn't know I didn't know how things were going to evolve. I didn't want to get a partner. I didn't want to get an investor, because I didn't want someone to just take what I was building. So I'm like, I'm going to do this on my own. And the best way to do it is just to license the method, So it's just basically you buy the name and the method, and it was very, very little obligation on my end. So I started to do this licensing business, and the licensing business just took off. It took off, it continued. And with the money, basically I continued to work on the machine and the method. And now, well, today we have about 173 patents.
Nice.
We're operating over 50 countries. We have over 600 studios. I think that this year is going to be the year where we pass 1,000 studios
Nice.
because last year we've sold a phenomenal amount of license everywhere in the world. We're selling more and more license every year because I've been able to look at what people wanted And so I offer different type of licenses, different type of equipment. So we have the smaller machine, the micro, mid-sized machine, the mini pro, and then the bigger machine. So depending on the machine that you want, your level of investment is more or less. Like you can open a Lagree studio with less than $10,000,
Mm.
which is incredible in its own. So I really work with all kinds of people, and then we basically I'm working and I'm helping people at different stages in their developments, right? And that's kind of a in a nutshell. I'm trying to be as quick as possible, Gresh. Otherwise, I'm going to be talking about this for 3 hours. So
Yeah.
I, I think that's the short and sweet, explanation of how everything came to be.
Yeah, well, no, I appreciate you sharing that because I love like kind of hearing the journey because I think so many times when people see the success, they hear the 600 studios, 173 patents, they don't hear all the behind the scenes things of getting fired from that position of having to have the ups and downs, and a lot of times there's a lot more downs than it is ups. It
It's
sounds
like
like.
this every fucking week, Gresh. It's like an
Right.
episode of Entourage. I swear. The Monday start, all of a sudden shit fucking happens, and by Friday everything resolved. I got a nice weekend, and then the following week something else happened. It is
Yeah.
constantly this up and down. For everything, for everything that you see in my life, I went through a period of really hard time because I got kicked out of the studio. I mean, we've had like so many issues. Even when even when change is positive, when you're growing, right, it's still really stressful. There's still
Yeah.
a lot of bad, stressful things that happen with that.
Hmm.
It's never always like up and up. It's like, oh, this is great. It's all hunky dory. Everything is great. It's just like constantly, and the copycats, which
Yeah.
always kind of add another element of stress, to your life.
Yeah, I always say things aren't always sunshine and rainbows, and that most CEOs, entrepreneurs, and business owners, while they're running their business, they have that job, that position. Obviously, they're also like part-time firefighters because there's always something that pops up, always something that needs to be attended to, and it's just like a nonstop thing. But it sounds like
Absolutely.
you're very much your foundational element is in the mission and the thing that you were open to you were open to do, open to take those steps. And I think sometimes when you want to go in a certain door, that door closes. You're like, why can I get through this door? But it sounds like you turned around or turned to your side and you saw that there was another opportunity. You just kind of ran with it from there.
Yeah, you absolutely have. I would say like right now I'm getting into really the mental and psychological benefits of the workout,
Hmm.
because really what has helped me to endure these last 25 years is actually fitness. I work out every day when I'm in LA, because it grounds me and it helps me to stay focused. And because like you said, it's mentally taxing. When you're an entrepreneur and you're starting your own business, even if you're on the positive direction, like you said, you're going to be putting fires out all the time. You're going to have issues that you have to deal with all the time. Things are going to pop your way that you don't even know how to deal with because no one prepared you for it. You're going to have like sometime unexpected things that you have to deal, and you don't know how to do that. And so that's where you really want a very stable mind, and you have to be able to see through all the garbage that come through your way, see through that fog, because sometimes the fog is so thick you think, oh my God, I totally fucked up. This is it, it's going all down. So you need to have that faith, that no, I'm doing the right thing. This is another valley. I've been through this before. I'm going to just rise above. So there's a lot of self-talk in that, there's, a lot.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense. And a lot of times you hear when those people, especially those innovators, trailblazers, the people that are doing things differently, it's even more difficult. Of course, a lot of times those improvements, those innovations are for the good. But again, there's so much that goes against that it makes it really, really difficult. So
Absolutely.
I wanted to drill down a little bit more, hear a little bit more about your innovation. Could you take us through a little bit more about Lagree Fitness,
Sure.
what you're doing, how you're making your impact, and you're serving your clients there?
So the first thing that so everything started when I taught Pilates and I saw that the clientele was essentially wanting more. So I was training a bunch of women on the Pilates apparatus, and I saw that they were going to the gym after, and that really ticked me off. I'm like, well, don't isn't the workout enough for you? He's like, well, Sebastien, we like the Pilates method, but honestly, we don't think we get anything from it. We don't feel like we're getting any result. We're not shaking, we're not sweating, we're not sore. It's a wonderful method, but I want to kind of lose weight, blah blah blah. So right there and then I started to basically modify the method, and then do something that was basically that was more like what people expected. And I taught this for a number of years on the reformer, and then I realized, I had started to get some ideas, by teaching those people differently on the machine. I realized, well, I need the machine to have different features. So I started to amass all these lists of things. If I was going to make my own machine, I would want this, 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 and then I started to basically, and I so from 1998 to about 2002, 2003, I taught on a reformer, and then I had a whole bunch of bad stories. People falling off the machine because I was making them do things that the machine was not actually designed to do. And
Mhm.
then I realized this. So by 2003, I had my list. I went to a friend of mine, and I say, hey, I want to make my own machine. Everyone told me, do not make your own machine. You are making a big mistake. You're going to put a lot of money. You're not going to sell it. Don't do it. But me, I'm stupid. I'm a stubborn motherfucker. I'm just like, it doesn't matter what you're going to tell me. I'm going to do it anyway. If
Right.
you know anything about me, is I don't listen to anyone. Okay, so I might as well be deaf. Okay, and so I went and I started to make my own machine, and it took me 2 years to complete the first prototype. First machine comes in at the studio in 2006, and then I had lost basically half of the clientele when they came to the studio. First, didn't like the machine, so I lost half of the clients because they hated the machine. But a week later, after the machine had arrived, and then all these people stopped coming, God willing, I had this girl that was a blogger for the Daily Candy. I had no idea what the Daily Candy was at the time. And then she went, did the workout, fucking loved it, loved the machine, and then posted on a Friday. And that Friday, we got like 1,000 members. I literally tripled the clientele in my studio. So half the
Nice.
people I lost, doesn't matter. I regained 3 times that amount. And then boom, the pro forma was here. People wanted it and stuff like that. This is exactly how it happened. True story. Website crashed. We had like so many people go on the website. It was crazy. So that gave me a lot of confidence to continue with basically the innovation, because when you are, the reformer, nobody fucked with the reformer ever. I was the first person to ever mess up with the reformer. And I had and I created a lot of issues in the Pilates community. People hated what I did to the reformer. And you know this process of innovation has always been with me teaching the classes. Today I still teach. I teach religiously. I teach as many classes. Matter of fact, after our podcast, I'm going to teach someone now on a brand new machine that came out. And I'm always teaching, because for me the innovation come by doing. If I just sat at my desk over here and then think, what else should I do, I'm not going to have any ideas. But when I'm in class, I'm working with people, we're sharing the sweat and people shaking on the machine. I see them how they use the machine or the new machines, like, oh, this is interesting. That person did something different with that new feature. I kind of like that. I want to explore this new thing. And then so every 6 months, every 8 months, you get new machines coming out. And this is why I have all these patents. And it's that process of constantly creating is basically, it's ingrained into the Lagree method. And then now the ideas are coming to me all the time, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a very organic process. I don't have to sit down and really talk to people, just by teaching, and I just notice things, and it just ideas come, and it's just unbelievable. Like right now, we have basically our timeline up until 2030. So we have the release of machines. Literally every 6 months we have like new machines, everything, because what we're doing now is we are integrating all the electronics and all the digital components to the machine. And that is amazing. When you start to add a computer to the machine, what you can actually do with it, it's incredible, man. It's super exciting right now.
Yeah, it sounds like it's exciting, and I almost wonder if that's part of like the DNA, the secret sauce, as I like to call it, the thing you feel kind of sets you apart and makes you unique. Is it understanding that baked within that innovation is by doing the exploring, the experiment? Do you feel like that's part of like it doesn't sound like you're quote unquote resting on your laurels and you're like, okay, we created this, so we're good, we're gonna celebrate. It's like you're constantly innovating, constantly seeing how to improve. Do you think that's part of like what sets you apart and makes you unique?
Absolutely. I was talking to an expert on motivation, and he told
Mhm.
me that motivation comes by doing. You cannot motivate yourself. Motivation will come by doing. And for me, creating comes by doing as well. Okay. If I'm not out there with people on the floor teaching classes, I will say that I don't have these ideas. They stop coming. So it's very important for me. That's doing and keep practicing the R&D. I think that's a very important thing. And now today it's amazing because we have a lot of copycats, and then it's amazing now the those copycats are always trying to just copy what we're doing, but it's becoming more and more difficult because of all the new innovations and new features. We're creating so much distance between us and them now, and it's not coming. It's not as a big of a deal that it was before. But that's because I'm constantly at it, constantly creating. It's just part of it, and this is a good thing for the DNA, but it's a good thing for the method, because you want to stay ahead and you want to come up with exciting products. This is how people, this is people how basically just remember you, or they recognize you as you go out there and you try new things. And
Mhm.
now I got a big pair of balls that say, in the sense that I have so much confidence that I'm releasing product. I never do a consumer group focus, or I never ask people. I'm the one who basically create all the new features. I never talk to anyone about it. I only talk to the engineers, and then I release it to the public, and then that's it. And I never even ask anyone what they want. I know what they want, and this is a great place to be, because I don't question myself anymore. I know that I'm completely right where I'm going, and it feels fantastic. I had a teacher training that I did with all my master trainers over the weekend, and I'm about we're going to do a summit in Vegas in March, where basically all the Lagree people are going to go, and we're going to have a first basically convention show centered around Lagree. So I was basically telling everyone over the weekend the new direction of all the new machines and everything like this. And it was just like spot on, just 100%, just not even like when, well, what was going on, and everybody just trust me. Everybody understand the evolution, the continuation, because it's very important, Gresh. When I got my master's in business, I was surprised because I did a lot of case studies. And the thing that I saw that was very common is, for companies that had the one hit wonder, they have this one product. This one product makes them super successful, but if they're not able to continue the innovations, then a competitor is going to come in and they will find a way to do something. Actually, will copy the product, but with adding something better to it, right? And will slightly, improve that product. And then before you know it, what built you up is going to kick you down, right? So it's very important, just like any artist, to just have the next song, the next movie, the next track. You got to just keep going. You got to keep laying those track in front of you as you go, because if you do and you stop and you rest on your laurel, you're dead. you know but me, I'm not
Yeah.
doing it for that. I'm doing it because I'm really fascinated how far I can push the method with the integration of all the technology. It's amazing. The few electronics that I've added to the machine right now, I've completely transformed the workout, and I can't even imagine how the new set of electronics and the new set of digital software, the digital features, will even make the method even better.
Yeah, that makes so much sense, and I think I feel like, from my perspective, a lot of your confidence comes from, like you said, you're teaching, you're doing all those things, you're having those conversations. So I think so many times when we hear this, we're like, oh, you just created something, but no, it sounds you're deeply dialed in, you're deeply connected to the community, you're deeply connected to what your clients want, and the end user wants. So you have an understanding of what exactly they maybe want without them even knowing how to say what they want. So I think that's an incredible place to be, and it's definitely exciting to have all those innovations, because you're constantly you can't beat somebody that continually wants to get better and continually innovating, is somewhat obsessed with doing that. It sounds like it gives you
You,
that
Gresh,
path.
you absolutely right. You cannot beat someone who never gives up. For me,
Mhm.
right now, this is what I call the golden years. Like this year, and then starting from now, these are the golden years. Because why? I started to do electronics integration in 2010, and for the past 13 years, I've learned so much. I've wasted millions of dollars, so many prototypes. I don't even want to know how much money I've spent on this shit. But I've learned so much, because there's a lot. You look at your iPhone and you think, oh yeah, I can make this. If we have the iPhone, people don't realize the constant R&D to make this iPhone still work. Okay, it's a lot of coding. Everything needs to work. It's not as simple as you make it seem. It looks simple, right? Okay, yeah, but no, there's a lot of work that goes into this. Same thing when you start to do this on any on a car or anything that's going to do electronics. You want to work as systematically, consistently. You want to be reliable, and there's a lot of work in that. And it took me 13 freaking years to get all this stuff now working in a very coherent system. And now we're finding a way to mass produce it. And the next generation of the machine coming out next year, actually as early as next year, is going to completely blow everybody's mind. You're going to be like, whoa. And that is going to feel like an overnight success. I know that when these machines come out right now, all of a sudden, you're going to see just Lagree and people think, oh, it's overnight success because of that one machine, but not realizing that it's a decade worth of constantly not giving up and things not working at all. But you don't give up because you know that the vision is right. You know that this is the direction and I have to make it work. And you make it just you make it happen. Like sometimes I scratch my face because my eyes are like, how did I even get here, man? This is like it's been such a process. But now it's fantastic. Now we're about to release some really fantastic, amazing product, and I'm just really very happy. I'm very happy too because of what it took to get here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you can appreciate that journey, appreciate those steps and getting to those golden years, what the quote is, the secret to the overnight successes takes 10 or 15 years. And I think so many
Yeah,
times we don't see that, right?
yeah, absolutely. People just see the obvious, but like you said earlier,
Mhm.
you don't see the peak and valleys, and managing the valleys is really the most important thing. So, if this is a podcast is directed, to CEO and entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
people, you have to understand it's going to be a fucking shitstorm when you don't know it, and you're gonna have it's never ever gonna go the way you think, but if you don't give up, you go with the flow and you're persistent, you will get to even a place that's been better. You know, if you trust the process, and this is what I wanted to do, Gresh. With me, my workouts, 25 years ago, I'm focusing more on the shell of the body, and I'm really making these beautiful bodies. But in the last 25 years, what I want to do is refocus more on the mental qualities or the mental benefit of the workout, because that's what those qualities from bodybuilding is actually what allowed me to become a successful entrepreneur. And
Mhm.
today I want to take fitness to help people to strengthen the faith in themselves, because I see there's so many people out there who don't believe they can do it, so they don't do anything, and they settle for less. And you can have an incredible life. All of you can have an incredible life. You just need to have that faith in yourself. But when you look at the media today and you look at the world today, it's very easy to get discouraged and to get scared and not want to try. You don't want to be ridiculed. You don't want to humiliate yourself. Um, but because the people don't have inside of them fundamentally, they don't have that faith. So for me, working out has given me that faith. Working out is, okay, if I can build this bigger body. I had tiny biceps and I had big biceps. If I can do this, I can actually build a better life. I can build a better business. I can build a better situation for myself, right? Because it's the same mental quality, right? Discipline, commitment, all of that stuff, right? Willpower, not giving up. And that to me, I'm more interested today than anything else really in the mental benefits of a workout, because I'm applying those qualities to my life. And this is why now I'm able to do amazing thing for the business, because I'm developing this mental skill set. That's what it takes, to do business. It's all in your head. It's just like
Mhm.
it's only in your head. Success is all in your head. And that's what I think entrepreneurs have to realize. And yes, sometimes you're going to take a beating and you have to get yourself back up and then do it again. But do it differently. And
Yeah.
just never, ever giving up.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. The quote is whether you can or you can't. You're right, and a lot of times it's based off of whatever you think. And that mental part that almost sounds like the what I would call the CEO hack, which is kind of like the app book habit that can make you more effective and efficient. It sounds like being able to do those workouts, have that space and that time to see yourself develop. You start to realize that I used to say success breeds success. It's contagious. If you see success in your workouts, then you start seeing success in your personal life. You start seeing success in all these things. And largely, you have to make sure that you have that mental built in some aspect. And workouts seem to be a big part of that for you.
Absolutely. You're going to take, you can't segregate yourself. Okay, this is my personal life. This is working out. This is my family life. This is business life. It's all in your brain. Your brain, it's all the same, right? And so this is why it's great, because if you're right, if you've been successful in some aspect of your life, take that qualities that made you successful in that aspect and then transfer it to this and to that. It's the same thing. perseverance and endurance, and it's all the same, whether it's for business or relationship, or your family or whatever you want to do. And that's the only and the best advice I can give to everyone. But it's tough, if you don't have that habit. It is tough. It's You're going to have to create those tools. But once those tools are developed, they're created, you're going to strengthen your mind, you're going to strengthen your spirit, and then after that, I mean, the world is yours. It's a matter. It's funny how in a blink of just a few months, how your entire life can change. Because I also believe in the law of attraction. I really believe in manifesting. I really believe that if you start to put yourself out there, you have a different perspective of yourself, a different idea of yourself. All of a sudden, you're kind of raising your frequency, right? And then at that frequency, everything starts to come to you. Like lately, I've been wanting to do AI, and I got to tell you, Gresh, I got people contacting me for AI. I don't even look for anyone. It's just people are coming. And say, oh, you got a friend? All of a sudden, people even didn't know that I was wanting to integrate AI into the machine, will call me on the sudden and say, hey, you got to meet this guy. I was like, oh, great. And then so everything is coming. It's just amazing. That's why I say it's a golden era for us, because I've worked so hard to get here, but now things are really coming to me now. And that's why things are really started to build like a fantastic thing, man. It's just like, it's incredible.
Yeah, it sounds phenomenal, and I guess so that probably speaks to, like, I call it a CEO nugget. If you were to hop into a time machine, what might you tell your younger business self? It kind of reminds me of this quote that the harder I work, the luckier I get, and because you put in that time, that energy, all those things that you've done, you sacrifice things that went well, things that didn't go well as well too. It allows you to be luckier, so to speak, because those things, the law of attraction, all those things are starting to happen because you have put that work and time in, and now it's starting to pay those dividends.
Yeah, someone was telling me like there's a definition of luck. Luck is like hard work plus something else or
Yeah,
whatever.
hard work beats. Well, I always say hard work beats talent when talent works hard, or something like that. But I can't
Yeah,
remember it.
but yeah, you're absolutely right. So you feel, oh, this happened, but actually you manifested that with your work ethics.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Nice. I absolutely love that. So I wanted to ask you now my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And our goal is to have different quote unquote CEOs on the show. So Sebastian, what does being a CEO mean to you?
Oh man, I don't even see myself as a CEO because I wear so many hats, man. I teach people, I create, I do. I'm not. I don't really do the accounting and all that stuff because that crunching number for me, it is not the thing that I like. I like to create. Um, for me, being a CEO really means that I have to steer the company in the right direction. So for me, the CEO probably has to do with the grand vision, because I realize like not everybody is able to really think about, oh, where am I going to take this in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? What is the end goal? What's the end objective? And for me, I've always been like this. I've always been a big thinker, always the big ideas. And I realize that this is what really, that's the value that I bring to Lagree Fitness, is the vision that I bring. But I work with amazing people, and they all do what I hate to do. It's all the detail bullshit. And that the detail, you cannot, even if you're like Elon Musk and you have this idea, whatever, and then like your giant ideas, you still need some people to execute the small step to get you there. Because it's one thing to say, oh, this is what we're going to be in 5 years, 10 years. But if there's no follow up, no follow through, and people are not paying attention to, okay, how are we going to get there? Nothing's going to happen, right? So I work with an amazing team, and they take care of all the details. I mean, that is the covenant that we have. I'm going to think about the big ideas. I'm going to pull us in this one direction, but you guys handle all the details because I cannot do this. It bores me to death. But the details are just as important as the big picture. So I think a good CO2 will recognize that you need an engine, right? So when you look at an engine, everything is important. What's most important? The electrical system, the pistons, the shaft or whatever. It's all important, right? Same thing in the body, right? What's the most important thing in the body? Well, if you take the heart, you fuck. If you take the lungs, you fuck. So I think a CEO has I think to recognize that it's going to be a team effort, but everyone in the team has to work really well. That's why for me right now, we have a small team at the top because we work so efficiently that sometimes I don't want to bring a couple more people and I throw the vibes out, because right now a lot of things are happening and it's amazing. It's a very tight team, but things are just like working so well right now. Everything is moving so well. But that's what I would say. I think for me, for being CEO, is really the vision. That's important too. I mean, if you can't just grow and not know and not have an idea of, okay, where do I want to where do I want to be in 5 years, 10 years? What do I want to do to the business? How is this business going to change people's life? What's the contribution to society that I'm doing with this? I'm only doing this to make money, so I'm going to sell it to investors before they do an IPO or whatever, or what is it? For me, Gresh, 50 years from now, I'll still be developing product because to me, this is my calling. This is what I want to do. I'm not doing this to build this business, to sell it or whatever. I doing this to change people's life because I really believe that what I'm doing here really helps people in a very, very positive way. I want to have a positive influence on everyone's life. I really want to help people to, like we talked about before, to restore the faith in themselves. Because if everybody had more faith, the world would be different. People would go out there and do things they really want to do, and it would be an incredible world to live in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even with that faith and I love how you have that awareness of yourself, but also awareness of everybody on the team and how those things,
Yeah,
it isn't either or, it's actually both together. But that faith is so powerful because I think at the end of the day, it's not that everything goes the way that you wanted to go, but you have faith enough to know that even if it doesn't go the way that I wanted to go, I still can continue on and get to where I need to be. And I think that's a powerful place to be.
exactly.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Very
Well,
well said.
Sebastian, truly appreciate that definition. And of course, I appreciate your time even more. So, what I wanted to do now was pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional that you can let our readers and listeners know. And of course, how best people can get a hold of you, find out about the program and all the awesome things that you're doing and where they can potentially like try out a class and try out all the equipment and things.
Sure.
Can you tell us all that information?
Sure. Well, first of all, Gresh, that was the quickest 30 minutes ever in my life, man. Thank you, brother. Yeah, you can find out about Lagree. You can go on the website, lagreefitness.com. And then over there, you have basically all the information about the workout. There's also a studio locator. There's about 600 locations right now. You can find us on Instagram. I have 2 Instagram accounts. We have at Lagree Fitness and also have at Sebastien.Lagree. And, and then what else? No, I think just go and try the workouts. And we have also we also have a virtual platform called Lagree OD, short for Lagree On Demand. You can also do the workout at home. You can buy the machine. So today you can go to a studio. I like going to a studio because you get that you get the corrections and the hands-on adjustments. But for those who don't have access to a studio or can't go to a studio, you have the virtual platform. We have also a smaller machine called a micro. You can buy a micro for like $590, and you can just buy it for the house and then do the workout. And you go on Lagree OD. You have all this. You have over 1,500 workouts on this on there. You can also have a personal connection with me because you can click on the button there and you can start a chat with me. There's like a chat box in there. So if you have any questions about the method, and I'm the one answering those questions, I don't have like a staff, because for me, again, it's very important to keep a direct relationship with the customer, because I need to know how we're doing, how they're doing, how people are liking the product, all that stuff. So I have a very much one-on-one interaction with a lot of customers. So I love that. I love to hear from the people who do the workout what they like and what they don't like. And
Awesome,
Gresh,
awesome.
we got to get you on the machine, man.
Hey, I'm all for it. I was just going to ask you that. So for people that of course want to, take advantage, we're going to have the links and information in the show notes. I'm definitely going to take you up on it. I definitely want to do a class. I'm all about fitness and
Yes.
all the things as well too.
Where are you at?
I'm in the DC area.
In DC? Oh, we're going to be opening in DC soon.
Oh, cool, cool.
There's a couple studios there, but I'm going to be opening my own studio in DC very soon. And it's going
Okay.
to be with like really cool machine. Those are the machines I'm talking to you about, like, all the digital stuff. So that's going to
Yeah.
be
Yeah, I'm looking forward to check that out. But let me ask you this: for people that are listening to this, maybe they're in a certain area where they have a fitness studio. Is there a certain idea of like who can reach out, or do you identify people? How does that work if they're like a fitness studio and they think that they might want to have this in their around in
Yeah,
their doors?
absolutely. When you go on lagreefitness.com, there's a whole thing about becoming a license, buying
Okay.
machines. They click on that, and they'll get all the information.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect. So
very easy.
again, okay, we'll have the information again in the show notes, but
Thank you.
definitely appreciate you for all the awesome things you're doing, Sebastian. And of course, the time you took today. And I love that faith part because, again, I think we don't talk about that enough, about that mental part and how that plays a part in your fitness. It plays a part in business, plays a part in life as a whole. So thank
It's
you so much for building that in people. And of course, talking
You're
about that
welcome.
today. And I hope you have a
It's
phenomenal rest of the day.
it's all about the faith, brother.
Absolutely.